Synthetic oil. I'm sure you've heard of it. In fact, many of you are probably using it in your vehicles. Maybe you're using it and you don't even know it. That's cool. There's a lot of good things about synthetic oil. I don't know if there's any bad, but what's the deal with synthetic oil? Why is it so great? Well, I did a test to find out. I had a hypothesis based on some previous experience changing oil in some other vehicles, one of which was maintained with conventional oil and the other one maintained fully with synthetic oil. And just looking at what came out of the oil pan was profound to me. So today I did a test. I had an opportunity to change the oil on 4 different vehicles. Now we'll talk about the variables in my scientific experiment later on in this video, but let's take a look at what I found out. To attempt to be as scientific as possible, I did a control group. So what I did is everything today was done on white paper towels. Okay, so all of the samples I took were on white paper towels, including the control. So we have, this is absolutely clean oil. On the left is 5W20 and on the right is 5W30. You can see that that is very clean. I mean, there's nothing in it, right? It's as clean as it can get. So that's what we started with, at least in terms of our understanding of what the oil starts out as. So now we're going to take a look at what came out of the engines. Let's take a look at that. All right, so back to our control group. And here is the first vehicle that I sampled. This is a dipstick wipe. Okay, this is a 2008 Toyota Sienna. It has 213,505 miles. You can see that there is a little bit of soot right here. That I think was a little bit of dirt left over from the dipstick. That's one of my variables, by the way. But after I cleaned it off, this is actually the pure sample right here. So you can see it's a little bit red. Obviously it's not as clean as our control group here, which is perfectly clear, but not a whole lot of sludge, just a little bit of red. And this Sienna, it should be noted that it has been maintained for its entire life with synthetic oil. So this thing is it's no spring chicken, but from really day one, or maybe day 2, let's say, it has had synthetic oil in it. So doing pretty well. This sample is a dipstick wipe from a 2006 Mazda 3 with 186,921 miles. You can see it seems to be a little bit cleaner. This vehicle was pretty well maintained prior to my son acquiring it. He's had it for about a year and has used nothing but synthetic oil in this thing. So this actually looks pretty good. Once again, this is a dipstick wipe. The next one is a 2003 Subaru Outback. This has 84,073 miles on it. Yeah, that is correct. That's the correct number, and it is a 2003. That's very low mileage. This was maintained well during its previous life with the previous owner. The previous owner was the original owner, brand new vehicle, and it was maintained extremely well. But I believe it was maintained with conventional oil. So I've been using synthetic oil for about 2 years, maybe 3 on this, ever since I bought it a few years ago. So this doesn't look too bad here. A little bit of red, a little bit of sludge going on, but not too bad. And the fourth vehicle is a 2012 Ford Focus. This has 211,344 miles on it. This vehicle has been maintained pretty regularly over its lifetime with conventional oil, and the past 3 oil changes or so it has been synthetic oil. So you can see it's a little bit more sludgy, a little bit more brown rather than red if you compare the other 3. And once again, here is all 4 of them side by side, so you can get a comparison between the 4. On the left is the new oil, it's our control group, and the 4 on the right are our experimental vehicles here. Toyota Sienna, Mazda 3, Subaru Outback, and the Ford Focus. With the dipstick wipe method, I was a little bit worried that we might have some variables in the mix. Of course, there are a lot of variables, which again we'll discuss in just a little bit. So I thought, well, maybe if I can take some oil from the filter, maybe that'll provide a little bit better look at the difference between synthetic and conventional. So let's take a look at that now. This is the 2008 Toyota Sienna. Once again, it looks really more reddish, brownish. Not too bad. That's right from the oil filter, which I have right here. Here's the Mazda 3. Looking a little bit more brown with this sample coming out of the filter. Still not too bad, considering the high mileage on that guy, 186,000 miles. Here's the Subaru Outback. Looking just a little sooty here. Little bit of sludge going on with the Outback. Again, not too bad. It's had, 2 to 3 years of strictly synthetic oil to kind of clean the system out, but it still does have some of the remaining sludge in there. And here's the 2012 Ford Focus. You can see it's pretty sludgy, pretty dirty. Some of the dirts have built up there, even right on the paper towel. I did have to kind of tap this out of the filter, so it may have gotten some of the residual sludge in the filter. I hope not, but again, comparing that to the dipstick test, it was sludgy in both cases. That's the Ford Focus. So we got to take a look at the oil samples, and I think the evidence is pretty compelling, but let's talk about the variables. So the samples were pulled from different vehicles, right? So we weren't operating in a laboratory. So it's difficult to control all of the things going into the experiment, right? So different vehicles handle oil differently. So we have 4 totally different vehicles at different stages in their lives. Past driving conditions, unknown, right? I know the van is mostly highway miles. Ford Focus is to work and back. Mazda's very short driving distances. So different driving conditions induce different kinds of variables and does different things to oils. Previous maintenance truly is unknown. I really only know the van. I've had the van from when it was brand new until now. So I know everything that's been done to it. All the other vehicles I don't know for sure, so it's difficult to say how that affects our end results. Operating temperatures were, I tried to get everything at the operating temperature when I did the collection so that the oil was running and circulating through the system. Did I check that? No, but every vehicle had been at least driven and was up to operating temperature, but that may have been a different operating temperature. And then the collection method, it wasn't consistent. Getting a sample off of the dipstick isn't the best way to do that. Getting a sample off of the filter, probably not the best way. Probably the best way would have been to pull right from the stream as it was coming from the oil pan. Didn't do that this time. Regardless of all that, I think the evidence is pretty compelling that synthetic oil provides a lot of protection. It doesn't form a lot of sludge over the life of the service period. So that's pretty cool. I'm still convinced that synthetic oil is a good way to go, and it's a good thing to do for the long-term maintenance of your car. So I hope you liked today's video. I appreciate you watching. If you would, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell thing to be notified for any new videos that I upload. Thanks for your time and have a great day.